All right, hi, this is Atticus, and welcome to part 14 of Going Medieval, the village of West Hamlin. We're playing on very hard difficulty settings with the Lone Wolf start. We're up to 2, 3, 6, 7 people. And in this episode, I'm just going to take a hard look at all these jobs and try to figure out how I really want to run. I still haven't come to what I really want to do with all the jobs for everybody. So I'm going to work through that and try to come up with a way to get it to where I've got the people doing the jobs I want them to do, but also make it very easy when I have a priorities thing that pops up to be able to switch it on to make sure that they focus on that one item. Like, for example, if you have a blight that hits your crops, you've got to cut the plants down and keep it from spreading, and want to get them right on it. All that kind of thing. So still not quite there with how I want to play this. I'm almost coming back to leave it on all defaults and then switch one or two. But anyway, I'm playing around with that a little bit, and I'm going to move ahead to the next thing that's interesting. I'm going to try to skip some of the detail and the trivia that's going on as we play along. I must say I'm enjoying playing this very much. I hope you guys are enjoying watching it. And I'm going to try to pick up the pace a little bit for the rest of this playthrough. Decided that I wanted to have an easy route to go from our workshop down to the basement, because I want to work on getting a better way to store clothing and our weaponry so that we can easily see how much good armor, how many good helmets, how many good weapons, how much good clothing we have versus how much crap clothing we have, stuff that we really don't necessarily want to keep. So we're going to work on getting better storage, much bigger storage, and divide our storage into pieces where we have our really good armor and our really good clothing in one area, and our less fine armor and clothing in a different area. So it's easy for us to go through and just eyeball what do we got that's in good shape that we like, and that kind of thing. So that's what you're going to see here. And this is kind of interesting. It's not easy to do this. I had to figure out a way to come down off of this level 5. 5 is kind of your base, kind of your ground floor, default ground floor in the valley. And had to find a way to get down off of that and go down to really to level 3. And I almost had to find kind of a creative way to get the stairs to work. And you'll see that as we go along. I'm also noticing, just as a general comment, not enough light anywhere. It's if I'm trying to do any kind of design or anything, unless it's in beautiful daylight, I just can't see what I'm doing. So I'm going to try to get better at putting torches out, more frequently, particularly down in the tunnel network where it gets really dark. So here you can see I'm trying to pick out a spot to get rid of the floor in the workshop and be able to put a staircase that goes down. And as long as we cover everything but the staircase, the room integrity of the workshop is not compromised. Now, if there's another spot, like if you have your 3 spots for your stairway, and then you leave another open spot somewhere, that is going to start counting what's below you as part of the same room, and you kind of lose the integrity of your workshop. But the way we're going to do it, it'll be fine. But anyway, here's my first stab at getting down there. And I'm not even going to walk you through the whole thing, but I will when it gets to the point where it's kind of twisting and turning and all that. I will come back and take another look at it. Right here you can see, if you we cut down 3 by 2 sections so we can start making our stairs. And you can see we hit that wooden beam down there. So what I decided to do was put a floor over the wooden beam, and that would allow us to put our stairs going down one level. So now we can go from 5 down to 4. Remember, we're trying to ultimately get to 3. But we're going to run into a little tight space here, so I'm trying to figure out, well, how we're going to do that. And I decided if we just take out a couple more dig under the floor on a couple of spots, we can just turn around and go back the other way with our stairs, and we should be able to drop down, and then and then build the steps on across that platform, and then drop off the platform. So that's what we ultimately did. I'm not going to go through the whole thing with you. It was interesting to try to figure it out. It was kind of a fun little challenge for somebody like me who has tremendous challenges with spatial awareness. That's just not my thing. It's probably a good game for me to play just to practice that and improve my mind. Now here's a good example of what I'm talking about, how we ended up. You come down the stairs, then you turn around on floor, you go across that beam, and then you turn down another stairs to go down into the next level. And I'm trying to figure out, well, why won't that go in? And it turns out the reason is because there's still dirt above it. And there has to be headroom for people to walk down the stairs. So I had to dig out 3 sections of soil to allow that wooden stair to go in right there. It took me a while to figure that out. Why in the world can't I put that there? Because you can't really see what's above you. But what's above us right at that stairs are, 3 tiles of dirt. The next thing I wanted to get into was a well. Now, a well is interesting. The middle of it has to be able to go down to, at some point down there below it, it has to hit water. So what I decided to do to make a well that's within our settlement, doesn't have to go outside our boundaries, is actually dig a waterway, you can see it right there, to allow that water to flow back to that high point over there. And then the plan is to put a well right over top of that waterway, if you will. So now the middle of the well, you can picture a well with a rope and a bucket, the bucket on the end of a rope, and the bucket goes down into the water. That shaft has to go down and eventually hit water. So we're going to bring the water over to us and then rebuild the land around it so that we can put a well there. Now here you can see the plan, or the beginning of the plan, for large storage underground where we can keep clothing and weapons, particularly our better stuff. So what I did was set it so you could go in a little bit, start going to the right there, and then that one column that's going up through there, that's to give us, to cut out a place to put our support beam. So we're going to cut out, we're going to go over, think of a 4, 3, 2, 1 beam, and we're going to put a beam there, and then if we want to expand it further, we'll go over, 4 more and put another beam in a cutout. And so we make sure that we're not collapsing the stuff up above us as we go along. You'll see from time to time different messages. We're getting new sheep born. We're getting more chickens. Love to have more cattle. We're starting to get a nice supply of sheep milk and goat's milk and cow milk and eggs, and it's nice. We're doing almost no hunting, yet our food is staying up very nicely because we just don't need the hunting anymore because we've got our crops, and the animals really are feeding us quite a bit. So life is getting better in West Hamlin, and remember we're in summer of our second year. So we started in 1353 winter, and it's 1354 summer. So we've got summer and then autumn after that to finish off just our second year of play. So going okay. Wanted to get into bees now. Should have done this earlier. So I set up 6 skeps up there. They seem to do better when they're covered. They like to be outside, but they like to be covered. So we're going to set up a little lean-to setup out there, kind of pave underneath it, floor it for no reason, I guess, and put a half roof over top of it so that it's sheltered, and we can start getting honey. And honey, when you start getting honey, that's a really good point for your food supply, because the honey's a very nice producer, and it gives you both the honey and it gives you beeswax, which you can use later to make I forget what they're called now. Basically, big containers that you can catch water in. I can't remember if they're called vats or whatever, but anyway, big old things we can capture water in case we have a fire in the settlement. And of course, that well, you can see the well's finished there, and it's hanging down so that it goes into the water source below it. So I've got this set up now. I'm going to set it up so that these weapons all have kind of mediocre to poor stuff in them over here, and another set of weapon racks and weapon floor space for the better stuff, so it'd be easy to go out and just eyeball how much good stuff do we have to use. So that's kind of the idea with that. Here's that storage over there that we just built, and it has the right half of it, the 5 columns as we're looking at it, the right 5 are for the better weaponry, and the left 5 are for our better clothing. And that way it'll be easy for us to see where's our good stuff versus where's our crap stuff. So I mentioned blights earlier, and here we get a message for blighted crops. Now, when your crops get the blight, you need to cut them down. You need to get them out and cut them down so that they're not contaminating the rest of your crops. So I might have overkilled that, but I decided to cut down that whole section of carrots there. And then the flax, I'm checking, it's hard to tell in this lighting if we have blight on the flax. I think we actually do. I think you can see the dark squares. I'm just not quite trusting that. And so what I decided to do, these folks need to cut. So we're going to go in and just cancel their recreation for the evening. It's late at night. I'm sorry to do this to them. We're going to try to get them back out there cutting because we got to get that stuff cut down before that blight spreads. So they kind of go back to work, and then I realized, well, they're not necessarily doing exactly what I'd like them to do. So I set them all manually to go over and pick different carrot plots for them to cut down, and that is what I'm trying to get away from. This is a little stupid. What I want to do is really get it where I can go to the jobs and just change the cut plants, the cut task to number 1 priority and make sure that's what they do. Because see, they'll cut some and then they'll just go off and do whatever it is next on their queue, and that's when I realized, hey, I got to fix this. The cutting plants has got to be high priority, and there we go. So I'm just going to make the construction a 2 and then go over to cut plants and change it to a 1 so that that's their highest priority thing that they're doing, other than, convalescing, stuff like that. So they will tend to, all of them have their highest priority job to do is to cut, and that way we'll quickly get everybody out here pitching in and getting that cut. Now Smitty is in the middle of doing a blacksmith work, and he finally says, nope, I'm done for the night. They're all very tired. So we've got 4 left we didn't get cut down. I'm trying to check to see, did the cabbage get it? The cabbage looks like it's okay, so if we can clean that out, but I keep coming back to this, and I think I keep missing it. I don't know why it's not. Oh, it does show the blight. I just missed it. See how it says plant dying blight? I just missed that. Just flat out missed that. We do have the blight in our flax field as well. So here I'm going back in and fixing their schedule back to more normal, and because they've all gone to bed anyway. And I've realized that this the flax really does have the blight, and I'm just going to cut the whole field down. So now that we've got it set up, as that's our one highest priority item for everybody, they should get up in the morning, to do their morning routine and then get out there and get that field cut down. That's what we need. We're going to cut that down, and we're also going to fix our storage down here. We're going to take this storage right here, and it was set up for warfare, and of course we've remodeled all that. So we're going to clear it out, and we're going to make it a place where we can put our linen cloth, so that when we do our the cut, we're gonna harvest some cloth, and we're gonna harvest some seeds, and we need to be able to get them in out of the elements. So we're just going to take this for now, temporarily kind of repurpose that whole stock area to be linen cloth and seeds. And then in the morning they'll all get up. We can see them; they're all going to go do their normal routine, kind of do their leisure thing. Our two early birds, Milton and Daniel, are already up. The others will get up. There they go. Now they're all up, and everybody's going to go through their routine. Then they're going to get out here, and there you go. So they'll start cutting. All right, now here's an example of how I've moved the weapon racks. We've got a whole set of weapon racks over in the original, but now here we're going to set up some that only hold weapons that are fine, superior, or flawless. So in other words, the top three tiers. The bottom three tiers will still be off in that original storage. And this way, it'll be easy for us to look to see if we've got any good weapons that we might want to upgrade to. And you see some pheasants just showed up in the area, and we're going to try to tame them and get them to come on down to our little animal menagerie. We want to have a connection between that original stairway down to our food storage we built and the stuff we've got going on that goes down into our clothing storage and all the other storage and our underground brick making and all that stuff. And you can see I've actually started paving the walkways here so that people can move more quickly. The great advantage of brick actually is travel speed, more so than any durability or anything like that. It's the travel speed. People can move. So you can see I'm just setting up, cutting through so that those two separate ways to get down into the tunnel network are connected to one another, and you can go from anywhere to anywhere kind of deal. And eventually, the three big tasks I'm really got in my head here are, I want to move the kitchen and the great hall in tighter into that space really right above where we're looking right now. It's kind of that open space between the kitchen and the rest of it. I want to kind of tighten all that up because I really want to have this idea of efficiency of living, entertainment, religion, food, right together. Get yourself ready for the day, go to work. And so this is part of it here, connecting these together so that then I can move the kitchen and still be able to easily move from kitchen to storage, or when you get up, you can go down to food storage and get your meal and all that kind of good stuff. So we're going to start paving down here. We're going to cut this out, as I said, and connect them together. Try to put in a few more lights so I'm not staring at the dark all the time, although absolutely not put a light in the food storage. We don't want to raise the temperature there. And we're really working these guys hard, and that must mean we're doing something right, because that's the whole thing. We want to keep them busy. Finally, we get someone else to join us. Nicola wants our help, and she's going to bring after her quite a little army. That's okay. She is a tremendous marksman, pretty smart, and we would take her. It didn't matter, but happy to have her join our little troop. So we're up to 2, 4, 6 up. We're up to 8 now, and we're going to our key here now is because she's a good shot. We don't really have any backup weapons, so we're going to queue up longbow production and try to get we're going to build 4 and hope that we get a good one out of it. Make that 5. That's what I thought. Yeah, we're going to do 5 and make sure that we've got our job scheduled so that our best carpenter is working on that. Pretty much make sure we have somebody doing carpentry work all the time. So we're going to bump up Red's carpentry to a level 1, and then take a look at Nicola. I think, yeah, we rename her Nikki. And Nikki, we're going to look at Nikki's job assignments and kind of manage her this roughly the same way we've done everybody else. Here's an example of what I was talking about the armor. I'm trying to set everybody up with a profile called Good Armor. So they'll go grab the good armor that we've created so far. And a lot of that is what Smitty's made for us. He's been making the chainmail armor, and we're taking advantage of that. And we're trying to get good armor, trying to make sure that Nikki has a longbow. And I've got her set on a profile called Good Longbow, and I believe I set it back to just longbow to make sure she gets something. Yes, got her set back on a regular longbow, and we're going to edit that and see what that says. And yeah, sure enough, that is exactly what I thought it was. I did this a long time ago. The longbow just says grab a longbow. We're not worried about the quality of it. Just if there's one that exists, grab one. So she's going to get auto-equipped with a longbow. Make sure she's armed. We don't need this incursion coming in and having an excellent marksman who doesn't even have a weapon. So that's the whole point of that. Decided that if these guys are going to keep knocking down our funeral pyres, they might as well suffer for it. So we're going to set up a whole row of traps going out to it and or coming back, depending on which way you're going. And we just want to. There's no reason not to damage the enemy before you ever contact them with your troops. Why not? If you can do it, do it. And in fact, at some point, if we had a different map, did more iron ore, that kind of thing, we would strongly think about making mechanical components and get those better traps. We could do a wooden trap right now with a mechanical component and some wood, and they're much better than these little stick traps. Much more effective, more reliable, and do more damage. And there's even iron, I believe there's iron traps that you can make out of mechanical components and iron nuggets, I think, that are even better still. But be it as it may, right now we're just going to throw the sticks in there and let our enemies suffer as much as they can before we ever fire a shot at them. Okay, time to fight. We're going to draft everybody up, try to get them in position, get out all of our ranged fighters up on the second level, and get, I believe it's Ramsey or Red, whichever one it is that is our melee guy. He'll be down there as the last-ditch guard of the door. Yeah, Ramsey. He's going to go down on the first floor and guard the final door. Just in case, worst case scenario, but basically he'll just stand there. If this goes well, he will never participate. So let's just move. Well, we might as well just watch it. We can just watch this part. There's not a lot to say. The one thing that makes this a little challenging is that Milton doesn't have a crossbow or a longbow, or I'm sorry, a short bow or a longbow. See him take off and run. He has like a flail, which has limited range and is a different thing. It's like he's just flailing rocks at people, and really need to get him a real bow because it's just not useful. It's hard to control him because he wants to run down there and go fight him. As soon as he goes out there, he'll be a dead man. So right now I'm actually looking to see what other weapon could I give this guy, because this is a pain the way he keeps doing this, and I don't want to have to control him. What I want to be able to do is select all of my archers there and then focus fire them on the next person to come in. And what they'll do is they'll automatically move to the position where they have a shot, and they'll take their shot. That guy will die. Then we'll do it with a rinse and repeat. But with Milton included in that group, if I do that same thing, Milton takes off, and I run the risk of losing Milton. So eventually, I just decide to hold Milton back a little ways, make sure I'm not selecting him as a general rule, and he's just going to kind of just stand back there and not really do much for us. So you can see how effective it is. Just to focus fire on each person. They can only come in there one at a time. It really is a pretty decent little kill box. And it doesn't take them long to kill them off. And we killed 15 enemy. Isabel took a little bit of damage, not very much. And we lost the pyre, our funeral pyres and one door. So good job by everybody. And at this point, I started to undraft them, and I thought, wait a minute. I'm going to go right back through this. As soon as I said all that stuff, you can pick it up. And we're going to rebuild the funeral pyres so we can burn up these bodies, get rid of them. But what I'm going to do actually is redraft everybody. Almost certain I did this. Redraft everybody. Yep, here we go. And move them all down to our weapons storage, right? So I can control what they do if they're drafted. So we're going to tell them to all go down here to that spot right there. And once they all gather up down there, then we'll go through the process of changing their clothing to drop the armor and the helmets and put on caps and regular clothes. And that way all the stuff that they drop will be right there near the storage. And it should make it much easier. See, they drop when you change to no armor. The armor comes off. It's just dropping off them, but it's dropping right there near our storage, so it should be easy to clean up the mess. One thing I haven't talked about is that this is a poor design. I really messed up with these two. I've got that Restitution Chapel there and the what will be the Oak Brethren Chapel once we get some gold. And that's no good, because what's happening is if you have a devout Oak Brethren and he walks through that Restitution Chapel, he actually takes a negative hit. It affects his mood. And we're pushing all these people hard, and we don't have a lot of nice stuff to keep them happy. So what I did was I actually took the lectern, which turns that little room down there into a chapel. I took it out and just put it temporarily up in the combat area out of the way. And now what we're going to do is put it back, because we have a chaplain who's visiting us. And that chaplain is going to be able to conduct a little ceremony, a little restitution religious ceremony, provided we have a chapel for them. So see, now it's a chapel again because we moved it, and you can see who will come. Our two restitutionists and the chaplain. And it says we'll get a decent quality. If we had some bread and wine to do communion, we could get a even better one. But still, this will be worth doing. So we're going to hold an event. So Smitty and Daniel will gather in there in our little tiny chapel. And that visiting chaplain will come in there, and there he is, and he'll conduct a ceremony. There we go. So we're having a little prayer meeting here in the chapel, and got people walking right through in the middle of it. And see, that's an example. That guy who passed through, if he happens to be a devout Oak Brethren, he's going to actually take a hit from that. So we're going to redesign where our chapels are, and move our kitchen and move our great hall. Those are the big construction projects I have going on, and would have already started doing that, but I've just been playing around more with the jobs and just getting more and more comfortable with all the mechanics that are going on. I was trying to see what happened there. Didn't really get a lot out of that because it's decent. I think had it been a better one, if we had a better chapel and had some bread and wine, we could have conducted a better one. Now, what I'm going to do here is move that lectern back up out of there. We'll keep it around so we can use it later if we need it, but I'm going to just move it temporarily up into our fighting area and get it out of the way so that won't be a chapel. Now, it doesn't hurt these guys to walk by just the shrine, right? So an oak guy can walk by the Restitution Shrine with no problem, but when he walks into that chapel, that's a different story. So we're just going to knock the chapel down. Now, this bad news about that, of course, again, this is a bad design. The bad news about that particular thing is, if you do that, now your restitution guys don't get the bump for having walked into a restitution chapel. So, you can't win. Bad design is a bad design, and that's what we've got. So we're going to fix that when we can. So we're finally ready to make the big change with the kitchen and the great hall. What my intent is to move the kitchen right up against the main structure, the main building in our settlement. And so, again, we're looking for efficiency. We're trying to get everything compact. without overcrowding things, so that we can, you get your religion, you get your entertainment, you get your food and drink in a great hall, and you go to work. We're going to enclose the whole thing in brick walls, and we're going to have it wide enough so that you can come into it from that entryway, that doorway in what I'm now thinking of as the foyer of the settlement, and also off that door that's off to the side in the workshop area. So it's easy access. And I'm just looking at door options in case there's something else, but we'll just end up using standard doors. And I'm going to go ahead and fast forward I'm going to go ahead and move forward to a point where that's kind of done and we can see what that looks like, and then we'll move on to the Great Hall. Here's the basic idea. We've got our new limestone oven. We've got brick brazier in the middle. We've got our butchering station. Right now we're going to have our little fire. Temporarily, we're still running a campfire to do our cooking for the whole village. And the reason that limestone oven is red is because of the limestone. We need to go out and mine a little bit of limestone in order to build it. Doesn't have to be limestone bricks, just limestone. Here you can see the kitchen with the completed oven, and it's a spare room right now. We need to add one more shelf of pottery. Actually, two. We need to add 2 pottery shelves to it, and it will be a kitchen, and that will speed up the production of the butcher table and the oven. And that will the only benefit to that really is that it just frees up your cook to go do other things with more of his or her time. So now we're adding just a little bit of a switch down here in the food section. We want to be able to bring in animal carcasses, make sure we have a place to store them where they won't decompose too quickly. So we're going to put flooring in just under wood floors, just under those 2 sections of stockpile, and the stockpile set only to receive animal carcasses, so that if we go out and kill 2 or 3 deer, we can bring them in here and not leave them out to rot in the wild. We're moving the fermenting station and that one kiln and that one clay furnace back over here, repositioning it to give us room to work on our Great Hall expansion. And one thing I did figure out here that's very useful is you can go in when you start, like say you want to destroy all there's a bunch of wood flooring here, and I wanted to get rid of it, but I didn't want to get rid of anything else. You can set how many layers you're applying and set it to 1 layer, and then set it to floor only, and you can drag across, and it will only mark for deletion the floor tiles, which is very, very useful, and glad to have figured that out as a quality of life improvement. So was able to easily take out all the wood floor tiles and then replace them with brick. Starting here on the Great Hall expansion, so what we're going to do is move the Great Hall, leave part of it where it is, if you will, and then move the rest of it forward on up to where the new kitchen location is, it basically increasing the size of the Great Hall. And we'll do it all in brick, and we'll make it 2 stories, because the other thing we're going to do is on the second floor, we're going to divide that entire big second floor into 2 pieces and make that our 2 temples. What would it be? A chapel to the Restitutionists, and I think it might be called a temple for the Oak Brethren. So whatever that is, we're going to make sure that those rooms are separated, that an Oak Brethren never has to go into a restitution room, Restitutionist never has to go into the Oak Brethren room, so everybody can stay happy and get their bonuses. We'll move our shrines in there and attract everybody, get that lectern in the restitution and have a chapel, and then as soon as we can go out and get some gold, we will build the that little special ring that is used during celebrations for the Oak Brethren. So that'll be coming up, and the whole Great Hall is a big project, so I'm just going to kind of move to the end of it and let you see it. Naturally, in the middle of our project, we had someone come along who wanted help. Of course, we took them in as a settler, and of course that means there's a huge army coming after him, and that's okay. We're going to take up arms and take this new settler in. I said him, and now I'm trying to think of who it was. I don't remember. Somebody. Could go back and look. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So anyway, we've got a new settler, and we've got an enemy approaching us in an hour, under an hour and a half. And so I want to get some bow production made to make sure we can get. What I really want is I want Milton to stop using that flail and use a proper bow, so that when I give him a command, he'll behave like everybody else, and I can keep him in the fight rather than having him just hang back being kind of useless. So here's the enemy. Here they come. I guess, and so got to get everybody. I've already gone through the process of getting everybody in their armor and in their helmets. So we're pretty well geared up, and we just want to get. I want Milton to drop that flail, and I've got him set up. Let's see it. Do I? I think I've got him. Yeah, I'm going to set him up to pick up a short bow. And I don't want to call it just simply ranged, because he might pick up the flail again. So I want to go in here and make a profile that's for a short bow. And the quality, it doesn't matter, whatever is available at this point. So we're going to go to ranged, and we're going to eliminate everything except the short bow. So now we have a profile specifically for picking up a short bow. We've had him drop his weapon, so he should auto-equip himself. So we'll see how that goes. So in the meantime, we're going to draft up the rest of our army and get them in place. So we'll get Daniel. We'll get our archers set up on the upper tier, and we'll get Ramsey, our lone kind of melee guy, down on the bottom as the last resort, guarding the door, and then we'll welcome our guests to West Hamlin. And I have to admit, I'm starting to think of these invasions as DoorDash. Because, well, two ways. One, they dash toward the door. And two, the way I'm really thinking of it, I'm ordering up new clothing, new weapons, and new armor. And these evil people are kind enough to deliver them for us. Now, there you can see Daniel wandering off, trying to get a shot because he doesn't have a good angle. And so I got to watch that. And there's Nikki doing the same thing. Stay here. That first door is actually the hardest one to shoot. And I think... I'll show you in a minute. When they eventually knock down this first door, and I forgot to close the other two. So you can see them there, wide open on the screen, and it actually works out. You get the best shots, of course, are from behind. So once they knock down this door, it actually gets easier, as long as you don't let archers get in there and shoot at your back while you're shooting at their melee troops' backs. So I'm just kind of micromanaging and saying, okay, whoever's closest, let's shoot the guy. And you can see Nikki and Daniel aren't even shooting right now. It's the rest of our guys. Now they seem to be going in a little more. We're giving the attacks. Yeah, there we go. They've broken down that first door. So we've got to get up here and shoot this Caldwell dude. So we can attack him, shoot him from behind, and it's extremely effective. They die so fast they don't even want to stay in there. They want to turn around and run, and of course they don't make it. So it's still working beautifully, and we're taking very, very limited damage. I think Smitty got a hit. Someone put a hit on Smitty at one point. You see he's all the way up to that door. But he's one shot kill kind of thing now. Yeah, look at that. It is becoming next. There we go. 17 down. Oh, I don't know. Not very many got away. I see like maybe 2 survivors or something like that. Maybe 3. So let's attack him on the way out. Maybe we can kill him, but it's not worth chasing him. It really isn't. It's just more garbage you have to clean up. So undrafted everybody. Set all the stuff to be picked up. And now we have a fire. So they have managed to set a fire over here when they knock down our funeral pyres. And we're starting to fight the fires, and this is where it gets weird. We put in a well, and we got 2 water vats so that we could have water in our settlement. And it looks like Smitty might have used a little, but look what they're doing. They're going way over here and trying to get into the water. And I think what they're doing is taking what's the closest. Now that I look at it, what's the closest point I can get water? Whether it would be from one of our vats or whether it would be from the lake. And what they're doing is saying, well, it's from that point right over there on the lake. So see, they're swimming over there, which is very awkward to get there on this map. So they're swimming over there, getting water, then swimming back to put out the fire. And it's just really, it's silly. They're swimming in their armor, by the way. And shouldn't be doing that. So gonna have to think about putting vats in the right place to allow us to fight the fires without going for these ridiculous swims. And this is really the first fire we've fought because it's close to us. I think there was a fire at one point. I may not have even shown it to you from a hailstorm. And it was raining, so it just caught on fire and went off. And see these, you see the 2 folks out there way off to the right? They're swimming too to get to water, which is just ridiculous. We've got a well and two big containers of water in our settlement. So anyway, fire's out, it's raining, so that makes it a lot easier too. And now we can rebuild some funeral pyre and start cleaning up the garbage and sort through the leftovers to see if we got anything good from our DoorDash order. And life is good. I did remember the little technique of having them drop all their stuff near the storage, so I redrafted everybody, sent them down there to the storage, had them drop all their armor and helmets and get dressed appropriately in winter clothes. Since we're in day 10 of autumn, it's almost winter. And so now they've all got winter clothes on. For the most part, they dropped their armor. I don't know why a few of them didn't. Maybe because they already had winter clothes. That could be it. So had them drop their armor as well. And that's kind of random where they placed it, but it'll get picked up. So, it's fine either way. I would prefer dropping it near a storage, but it's okay. So looking good there. We've survived another battle. We got another nice delivery. We've got some weapons and stuff to work through. More stuff that we can break down, basically. And we have an extra rug that we've created ourselves. We've researched rugs and we've made a rug, and we're going to put one in a room. And we really haven't done much to pretty up the place or make life a whole lot better for these folks. We're kind of pushing them hard work-wise, and we're giving them what they need to be content but not exactly ecstatic. And of course, we'd love to get them all, instead of having 2 of them red like you see there, which means they're getting angry, I'd like to see a bunch of them be green, which means we're getting production bonuses and speed bonuses from them because they're happy about their circumstances. But you got to do what you got to do to survive, and right now that's what we've been doing. You can see the Great Hall is starting to take shape. It's going to be quite a bit bigger, and then we'll start working on decorating it, making it into a nice Great Hall that we can use for nice events and to get bonuses for folks. And decided to just kill that. It's been sitting there forever. We don't have any gold to build it anyway, and it'll eventually get moved over here to the Great Hall. But you can see the Great Hall, the second floor, is nowhere near ready to have stuff moved into it. Now we're starting to get low on bricks, so I've set up a big mining area out there for a large clay deposit. We've kind of tapped out that one right there in front of our settlement near the funeral pyres, and I started to do a little bit on that left side as we're looking at it. There's some clay over there, but I didn't want to get too cute with that because you got the water there. I certainly didn't want to flood our downstairs rooms, our basement rooms, if you will, where we're doing some of our production. So I just decided to go out here and get a large area and mine it out. And I also wanted to say, okay, all right, everybody, all hands on deck. Let's go do some mining, because we can't do much building if we don't have the clay to make the bricks. So a giant wolf pack comes flying in there. We may want to thin them out at some point, but we've got everybody comes out here, and I set this up and I said, okay, look, you just did all this, somebody is going to get stuck out there. So it was just kind of, as I'm watching this, I'm just thinking, all right, who's it going to be? Which one of you poor sods is going to get stuck out there in the clay quarry? I think you can see the answer. Smitty hopped, but look at Daniel. He's out there in the middle of nowhere. And so I just thought, okay, great. So we're going to give Daniel a quick ladder. We'll have Smitty go build it. And there's Daniel stuck in the bottom. So he says, okay, well, why not? I'm out here in the rain. I'm stuck in a clay pit. And sure enough, why don't I just mine while I'm out here? Good attitude, good attitude. Whereas Nikki and Ramsey and Smitty are all angry, and I don't blame them. It rained on them the whole day. They mined the whole time. And Daniel climbs out and goes right back to it. He's a worker. In fact, they're all coming out for one last whack, or most of them are coming out for one last whack before they turn in for the night. So I think with that, we'll wrap up this episode. A lot happened, got a lot done. I hope you're enjoying this. I hope it'll help you become a better player. I hope you'll like, comment, share, and subscribe, and join us for our next Going Medieval video. Thank you.